Happy Tuesday, everyone. Trust. Trust is a huge factor in a relationship. Without trust, you don't have any foundation to build on when it comes to relationship or marriage. And when that trust is broken by your partner, sometimes it's hard to recover. Sometimes it's hard to rebuild that trust. But if you're willing to work in your marriage or in relationship, is it possible to regain that trust with someone? It's possible. It is. It all depends on the person. And can a marriage recover from infidelity? And that's a huge thing once that trust is broken from your partner. And we're going to dive in and talk about it. So let's get into it, everyone, and welcome back to That's It. So before I get started, you guys, I was so excited to have a guest star, not a guest star, but someone to join in my YouTube video. And I was super excited this whole week that she was willing to participate and ask questions in regards to the topic that I'm talking about. And the topic is, can a marriage recover infidelity? And she wanted to get in, one of my good dearest friend. And then next, you know what, she backed out on me. She was like really scared and shy. And I'm like, there's no reason for you to be shy. Like if I took the courage to come up here and do a video and actually post it, you'd be fine. It's just me and you. It's just basically, I was telling her, it's just like us talking over the phone, but instead it's in front of a camera and it's being recorded. So she backed out, and I was really disappointed. I was really upset, but I understand where she's coming from. She's just not ready to be um, in front of a camera and recording while we're having this discussion. But she told me that she told me that, you know what, just talk about it, Cheryl. I'm going to listen in. I will comment, and the next time, I promise you, the next topic that you talk about, that I will join on the Zoom. I'm like, okay, I have your word. You can't back down this time. So I'm very bummed that she's not going to join in on Zoom with me to have a discussion about this topic. So it's just going to be me and you guys. So it's just going to be us, just the two of us, or the four of us, or the five of us, or just me alone. You get my drift. So here we go. So the question is, and she had that question, and it's a really good question too. Can marriage recover after infidelity? Now, that's a great question. And I have to say, for me, because I'm married, and I know a lot of people that I know that's married as well, honestly, it depends on the person. It really does. I can't say yes, I can't say no. It really depends on the person if they can recover from infidelity. Now, for me, if my husband told me that he cheated on me, there's like five stage of grief when you find out the love of your life, your husband, your partner, the person that you love and trust and respect, just really broke your trust. And first you like in denial because you like, are you kidding me? Are you sure? Like, is this a joke? Are you pranking? Then the anger starts to kick in, like, what the F? Like, how could you do this to me? Why would you do this to me? And then the bargaining, like you're bargaining with someone, like, no, 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 are you sure? Then the depression starts, and then the acceptance that this really happened, that your partner actually stepped out of his or her marriage and slept with someone. And even though, and a lot of men, excuse me, are going to say, well, I told you, I came up and told you, the truth that, I cheated on you, I slept with someone. Okay, kudos for you. You did that. Like, us women, we should pat you on the back because you did the honorable thing by confessing when you shouldn't have been doing that in the first place. And like I said in my previous video, it's a choice that you made to cheat on me when you didn't have to. And I feel like, the trust is broken, the bond is broken. Like, how can any marriage recover from that? It's going to be a lot of therapy. It's going to be a lot of rebuilding that trust and that foundation that you have with someone. It's not going to be easy overnight, especially if you decide to stay in a marriage and you know that the marriage is worth fighting for and worth working on. It's going to take time. And some men, like it seemed like with them, like if you tell them, no, excuse me, if they told you the truth that they cheated, that they expect us women to like get over it. Well, I told you the truth. I didn't have to tell you, but I told you, so you should get over it. I'm like, no, we should not get over it. Because just imagine if we told our husband that we cheated on them, you think they would get over it really quick? No, they wouldn't. They would be so upset. They would ask so many questions. How many times? When, where did it happen? They would ask so much questions and they'd be so furious. And it's like, I can't stand the double standard. You know what I mean? It's okay for them to do it, majority of them. And then for us women to get over it and like, it's okay, like basically snap out of it. But if it's the other way around, they get upset. They probably leave us. You know what I mean? And not forgive us. But us women, we have to forgive so quickly. We have to forget. No, that's not how it works. Okay. Especially if you want to be in this marriage, and you want to fight for a marriage, and then you don't want to leave the marriage, and you made a mistake, it's going to take us time. It's going to take women time to trust you again, to rebuild that trust, and basically just starting all over again, because the old marriage that you had with your partner is gone. It's finished. It is done. Basically, you are starting from scratch, like basically rebuilding, redating everything. And that's going to take a lot of couples therapy, a lot of prayer, again, to rebuild that trust, rebuild that confidence. It's going to take time. And once couples establish that and work on it, both of them, both partners have to be willing to do it. It can't be one or the other. If both partners are not willing to work on their marriage and give it another try, then there's no point. There's no point of couples therapy. There's no point of trying to fix it. You might as well cut ties and just move on. You know what I mean? But if both parties are willing to do the work and willing to fight for their marriage and give it a try because you love each other, there's so much history, you have children together, and you know the love is still there, and your partner made a mistake, which was it's not a mistake. He or she made that choice, part of me, made that choice to cheat on you behind your back and willing to work this out. It's going to take time. Like it's basically restoring and rebuilding all that trust and everything. It's commitment. Both partners have to be willing to do this. Be willing. It's honesty and communication. You definitely have to communicate and be honest with one another. You know what I mean? And not hold anything back. Because once you hold things back, then there's no point. And you just taking a step forward, um, taking a step forward. What's that saying? You take a one step forward, and then if you're not honest and not communicating, you take a one step back. You know what I mean? And you don't want to do that. Also, accepting the responsibility, taking accountability, and not turning it around and blaming on us. Oh, the reason why I cheated because we didn't have enough sex, or you're not paying attention to me, you're paying attention to more of the kids, or you doing this, or you working. You can't do that. You can't blame it on your wife because it's not your wife's fault because you did not communicate with your wife and let your wife know what you're feeling and what's going through with yourself. You know what I mean? We're not mind readers. Just like men are not mind readers. If there's an issue, something's going on in your marriage, or you feel a certain type of way, you communicate with your wife or your husband. You let them know. It's not an excuse to find something elsewhere, to find comfort, to find something like a quick fix, and then you're okay. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? So that's why it's important to take accountability, take acceptance that you did what you did. You made that choice to cheat on your wife or your husband, and now you just have to take the responsibility of it. Okay? And the most important thing too is healing and forgiveness. You definitely have to forgive and definitely have to heal as well. You don't want to hold that anger and animosity towards your partner, especially if you're working things out. Now, once, I don't know how long, when couples go to couple therapy, how many sessions you have to do in order to complete the sessions and then move on. But once, your therapist tell you that, you did the work, the session is over, and now you're restarting your relationship, restarting your marriage, and basically having a reset. Then once you have that reset and then you've done all the work and all the therapy and everything, once you forgive and you heal, you can't bring it up again. You can't bring up the whole cheating again. Once you forgive and you did the work and you did everything that you need to do to save your marriage, that is it. You can't bring it back again. You can't bring it back to your husband or to your wife. It's finished, it's done, it's forgotten. But however, you still have your guard up a little bit, and you're always going to have that feeling a little bit that obviously that's not going to go away. But in order to move forward into your new relationship and renew um, the next step, the next phase in your life, you have to forgive and you can't bring it up, because once you bring that up again, it is going to start a whole new issue in your marriage. And once that is done, it's a fresh start. It's a fresh start, and that's super important. And you have to mean what you say, meaning that if you forgive someone and once you've done the work, you have to forgive them and move on and have that fresh start. That is super, super important, you know. And I understand too the fear of the repeat infidelity. Of course, that's going to be everybody's fear, especially when you've been cheated on and the person that you love, and you thought that in a million years that person would never do that to you. But that's a legitimate thing, you know what I mean, to have, to have fear. And when you have that fear, just always go back and pray and ask God to remove that fear from you, um, for Him to reassure you that you did the work. You and your partner did the work, and to trust him or her again, that your partner will never, hopefully never, will do that again. Would never cheat on you. That with your love and the confidence and the trust will overcome that fear, if that makes sense. It will overcome it, that you won't even think about that your husband or your wife will ever do that again, because hopefully, just hopefully, and that's just a few people, that your wife or your husband learn a valuable lesson. Hopefully, that they will never ever cheat on you ever again. Hopefully, because they don't want to lose you, they don't want to lose their family that they built with you and everything. Hopefully, and some do. Some have learned their lesson and they never ever do it again. And some are repeat offenders. Okay, they say they're sorry. It will never happen. They cry, they beg, and all that stuff, and then they keep doing it, and you keep finding out they're cheating. And that's when you have to like pump the brakes and say, well, this is not going to be working out. And then you just have to leave the marriage, because he or she is not willing to change. And if that person's not willing to change or do the work, then the marriage is not going anywhere. So it depends on the person, actually. You know what I mean? It all depends. Some partner want to make it work and some don't. Some don't even want to take accountability. Some just gaslight you and just blame it on you. Like you're the problem. It was your fault. And thinking that, and then mess up with your mind and saying that you cheated when you never cheated. You've been nothing but faithful to your husband or your wife when they're the guilty parties. You know what I mean? So it, to me, it all depends. Like for me, the trust and the broken heart, those are two different things. For me, if my husband cheated on me, it's the trust that will break me the most, because once that trust is broken, for me, I'm only speaking for myself, it's hard to get it back. Like I can't trust you anymore. And once that trust is broken, then for me, there's no point of rebuilding our marriage. It's done, it's complete, because no one didn't tell you to go and sleep around with another person behind my back and thinking that's okay. Yes, I appreciate you telling me up front that you messed up and you did what you did, and I respect that you being honest with me. However, I don't think that I can look at you the same or continue to be in a marriage with someone that broke my trust, because trust is everything for me. And for me, it's hard to get it back. And especially, it doesn't even matter if you went to therapy or anything, I will still wonder, and like I said, it depends on the person. I know for me that I just couldn't stay. I just couldn't stay. Everyone is different, but I know for myself that I just could not stay in a marriage if my husband cheated on me. It doesn't matter if he plead, cry, say that he's sorry. No, because I just know that God forbid if I did that, which I would never do in a million years, to cheat on my husband, he wouldn't take me back. He would divorce me in a heartbeat, and he said it many times, which I would never do, because once you have that covenant and you said your vows in front of God and family and friends, that's it. There's no reason to step out of your marriage. God forbid if your husband or wife pass away, then you remarry. That's one thing. Or if you get a divorce, that's different. But for you to be married and because you're unhappy or um, you're not getting what you need from your husband or for your wife, that's no excuse to cheat on them. It's not. The big thing to do, the most important thing to do, excuse me, is to communicate. Let your partner know. Let your partner know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what's missing in the marriage. Communicate. And if you feel like there's no changes, then you let your partner know, listen, if you've been married for so and so years, you haven't had sex in 6 or 3 months, something has to give because I cannot live my life in a sexless marriage. I can't. I can't. So unless we go to therapy, unless something has to give, or we just have to go our separate ways and get a divorce. It's that simple. And I know sometimes there's kids involved and whatever, and some parents stay because of their children. But then why sacrifice your yourself because of your kids? That's not setting a good example for your kids to stay in a marriage because you're unhappy. You know what I mean? Like a mother or a father should be happy whether you have children or not. And if that person is not giving you what you need and what you want in a marriage and not making you happy, why be miserable? Because when you're miserable, your household is miserable. Your kids pick it up. They see that you're miserable, unhappy, and then they think that's the new norm, which is not. It's not the new norm, and it's not healthy either. And kids are so smart, they pick up things. They pick up things when things are wrong with their mommy or daddy or whatever. It doesn't matter how much you try to hide it, kids pick up things. That's how smart they are. Okay? So if things don't work out and you tried everything you can to salvage your marriage and you communicate, you talking with the counselor, and your other partner is not willing to do that, bye bye, leave. What's stopping you? You know, why be miserable? Why be depressed? Why be sad and cry in the middle of the night because your significant other is not giving you what you want? And especially you did everything that you can, communicate, went to counseling, the whole 9 yards, and you're still not getting the reciprocation that you're getting back, then you did all you can. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to encourage anyone to leave your marriage. Obviously not. Especially, if you are Christian, Catholic. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you did all your resources and did everything that you can to save your marriage and try to work on your marriage and your partner's not willing to do that, then and my thing is, what's the point of staying? What's the point of staying in a marriage if you're not happy because of the sake of your children? It that's not. It doesn't make any sense. It's not even worth it, and you're gonna end up miserable. And I know a lot of parents. I know a lot of people that I know do that and sacrifice their happiness for their child, which that's a normal thing. Not normal. That's what's the word? Noble to do. But at the end of the day, you're hurting yourself, even though you sacrificing for your children, which that's fine. But what about you? What about, and it all depends. Everyone is different. And sometimes, when it comes to infidelity, it's hard. It is hard. You have to rebuild the trust. You got to manage your emotions. You have to address the underlying issues, what caused he or she to cheat. What it sometimes it stems to something so deeper that we don't know, but they need to communicate why they did that. You know what I mean? They made that choice. It's not like it was a mistake. They chose to cheat on you. And why is that? Something stems deeper for them to do that. And us women or men, we would like to know. We would like to know why you did that. Obviously, there's probably problems in a relationship, something big that we miss, we didn't catch on because, again, full-time job, taking care of the household, the kids and everything. Life gets the best of us, you know what I mean? And sometimes we miss the certain things with our significant other because we're always on the go. We're always on the go. We're always trying to, you know, think about the next thing that we try to take care of, and it's hard to do. But it's always important to set, you know, that space and with your marriage and communicate with your husband, communicate with your wife, and let her know that there's something missing. There's our marriage is just not there anymore, And I feel like, in my opinion, it's super important to communicate those things and work those things out, opposed to taking the easy route and finding someone else who's willing to give you what you need for what, for a couple hours, and then that's it. And then next, you regret it. You regret it. You feel guilty. You feel shame, and then you can't look at your husband or your wife the same because you cheated on them, and then now your guilt is just catching up to you that you have to tell the truth. Some people do tell the truth, and some people just keep it. I mean, not keep it, but withheld that information and not tell their wife or their husband until they get caught. Until they get caught, and that's even worse. I'd rather my husband come up and tell me the truth than me finding out myself. Because finding out yourself and your husband or wife been doing that for what, months or years, that's even more devastating. More devastating than anything. So it's just crazy, but it does happen. It does happen. So my question to you guys: can a marriage be recovered after infidelity? I would love for you to comment, and I would love to get your input because I would like to know. I already told you my answer. For me, no. Um, for some people, yes. My good girlfriend, best friend, was supposed to, like I told you, be on Zoom to answer this question. She gave me her answer, and then she said she's not sure. She's not sure. She said it all depends. So hopefully, by me doing this video, and then she hears my perspective um, about it, that maybe, I don't know, maybe she will have more clarity. But she said she's not sure, and that's fine. Some people just don't know until it really happens to them. And I know for me, even though I don't know what if that, if basically I don't know if that ever is going to happen to me. But in some people say you can't answer that question because you don't know if it's going to happen. But I just know myself, and I know that trust is a big, huge factor in a relationship. And without trust, there's nothing. And then for me, if my husband cheated on me, the trust is broken. I cannot. I don't think I would want to stay in a marriage that I don't trust someone. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter for me. This is just my thoughts. It doesn't matter how much therapy that we go together, the trust is broken. And once that trust is broken, for me, it's hard to get it back. I will definitely forgive my husband and always have love for him and respect him, but I don't think I will ever be with him again because that trust is broken. And I just don't want to live in that fear of uncertainty that what if he ever going to do it again? Like if he's going to do it again, like, you know what I mean? I don't want to live that fear or uncertainty, and no one should live that fear. You should have confidence with your husband or your wife that if they're going out to a bar with their friends or out to work or whatever, that they're out with their friends and they're not doing anything shady behind your back. You know what I mean? You want to have that transparency and that trust 100% without any doubts. And that's what I want, and that's what most men and women want too. And that's hard to rebuild. That's hard to get back. But it all depends on the person. It all depends on the person. And that's all I'm going to say about that, you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Take care, and God bless.